Welcome back, folks. The oil price rout takes Brent to fresh lows as the president vows to veto the Keystone pipeline. The energy fracking revolution is doing for national security what this president seems incapable of, putting the squeeze to Iran, Russia, and Venezuela. I got to be honest, I didn't think that oil would drop much below $100 a barrel ever again in my lifetime. Once I saw it get to 100,
you were not alone. If you'd asked me, I would have said, well, maybe 95, 90 might be the bottom.
We're flirting with $40, under 50.
It's under 50. That's right.
Because what they're trying to do is break the fracking movement. Am I right?
Well, let's be more specific. First of all, this is a war waged by the Saudi Arabians on the United States of America. It's a war. If we had a leader with guts, he would have said to Saudi Arabia, you keep it going the way you are now. The Iranians are going to come in there and they're going to hit you, and we're going to look the other way, and you'll be on your own. That's exactly why am I saying that? Because right now.
But our president bows to King Abdullah.
He does. He bows and scrapes. But the point, why am I saying this? Because right now, the Russia, Iran, Venezuela, their basic economies are built on oil and natural gas. If you take that away from them, they have nothing. They don't, we have oil, natural gas, we got 1,000 other things that we're making here. But those three countries are really suffering. They built their budget on $100 per barrel. As you said, it looked like that was going to be sort of like a lifetime. Well, what happened, the Saudis saw what the United States was able to accomplish in 2 years. In 2 years, because our old-fashioned way of producing, which included also deep sea drilling, which is very costly, and obviously got a black eye when we had that problem in the Gulf of Mexico. That looked like we were going to have to import even more. Well, fracking, the technology had a breakthrough. It's been around for about 40, 50 years. They finally had a breakthrough. It came, curiously enough, during the big recession 5 or 6 years ago. And we are now producing, as of this month, as we speak, over 9 million barrels a day, when we had been down to as low as 3.2 million barrels.
What do we consume, about 20 million barrels a day?
You're very close.
So if you add Keystone into that equation, we'd be at what, 75% energy oil independent?
Yeah, it's not that quite that simple. I think we are really on the verge of oil independence now because
natural gas is phenomenal.
On natural gas, we used to flare it off because we had no place to contain it, and we are now at this point, we are the #1 country in the world as far as natural gas, and that will get into natural gas liquids, and they'll be able to ship it all over the world. But the oil thing is frightening the Saudis, because there were two things that was giving them. There are only about 25,000 people in Saudi Arabia who really get the benefit of this dictatorial royal government. They have 30 million people, but
it's the royal family and their friends.
It's about 25,000. And so everybody bowed and scraped, starting from Franklin Roosevelt, who gives them recognition, and everybody wants to, kiss their ring anytime they come anywhere near them. Well, the Saudis used to ship 6 to 7 million barrels of oil to the United States like clockwork. Remember when the embargo was called by the Saudis and everybody bowed and scraped and begged them to take it off? Well, and then you got the president saying, oil independence. Carter was talking about equivalent to war. Well, guess what? Fracking, which is done by independent business people, had nothing to do with the government.
In spite of the government.
Absolutely in spite of the government. If we keep going the way we have, or if we had kept going with $100 a barrel, I would say in about 4 or 5 years we would be doubling what we're doing now. So we would be producing probably about 15 million barrels a day.
So at what cost point, what price point does it become cost ineffective for fracking? Is that $20 a barrel? You know, if the Saudis
Well,
decide to sell it for 10 like it used to be?
That's a good question, but if you're one of the big companies like ExxonMobil or ConocoPhillips or Shell, you can probably get away with it at about $40 a barrel and make a profit.
So if the Saudis continue to lower the price, when you get to around 40, it becomes cost ineffective
Well, you know,
for fracking.
you know what they're doing right now? They are raising the prices to the rest of the world, but they're lowering it to the refineries here in the United States. They're playing a double game.
Which makes sense.
Oh, it makes
I
sense
mean, if
for
you're a
them.
business person, it makes complete sense.
It makes complete sense. But the point is, nobody's is taking them up on it. They're getting away with murder by doing this, and consequently, what you have is that as we speak, there is a slowdown going on right now in the acceleration of fracking. It's slowing down. It's still going on, and the big guys keep going. But you know, being active in that industry, I'm and talking to people every day, they're now talking about deferring certain projects, not canceling, but deferring, slowing down. I heard the U.S. Steel Company canceled out a plant with about 600 people because they were strictly on that kind of work. So the Saudis are somewhat successful.
Now, you know who else is not happy about the low price of gas? State and federal budgets, because they rely on high gas for their taxes.
Yeah, well, they're in the same position as Russia.
Right.
You know, you're right, man. Those states, yes. And this whole idea of now throwing on a gas tax is ridiculous, because you know that oil is very fungible. It can change overnight. I mean, I don't see this right now. Tonight, as we speak, it's down around just short of $48 a barrel. I don't see it going much lower than that. I think it's like a rubber band. It's going to snap back. And I think what will happen is, I think there are going to be some geopolitical factors in play.
So we talked about this off the air, and this kind of has me a little bit concerned. When you get backed against the wall, you start to swing. And Russia and Venezuela and Iran, they may start to be that scared cat in the corner that starts to lash out at some of their neighbors. This could start some wars, no?
I mean, you're being hesitant. Of course, it's going to happen. Listen, if you have a budget, and take Russia, and Russia now has got, they never developed a real middle class. They you know, what do they export?
Vodka?
Yeah, but they had 50 years to build up pipelines through the Ukraine and to the satellites, and
Europe.
It took a long time, and Central and Eastern Europe is pretty much dependent on Russia. So the Russians, they're not going to take this, and there's ways of putting pressure on. And I got a feeling you don't hear anything from Russia, and you don't hear nothing from Iran. You heard one speech from this Romani, the president, who sounds, he's moderate compared to that crazy guy they had before. Ahmadinejad, yeah. He said, we cannot go on with our economy at the price.
Well, they had a struggling economy even at $100
Of course, and on top of that, they had sanctions. Venezuela not only has a runaway inflation, but they have now indicated they may have to just default on their bonds.
Did you know that you can't get McDonald's French fries in Venezuela right now?
Why?
They can't get them.
Oh,
The McDonald's franchises in Venezuela cannot even get French fries. That's how bad it's gotten in that country.
that has not made headlines, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's a sign of a weakening.
But let's get back to your basic point. Basic point, yes. Right now, as we speak, this isn't going to continue. Something is going to have to happen. I'm predicting right here and now that by mid-year we'll be back. The price of oil will be back up somewhere around $80, $85.
Okay, we'll have to check that out. Don't go anywhere, folks. Our global outlook, political insider, and moment in history are coming straight ahead. If you want to watch the show or catch a segment that you missed, it's simple. Just go onto our website, theworldreport.org. And when you're there, remember to like us, recommend us, and leave comments. And for the latest news updates, go to newsmax.com, or you can watch Newsmax TV, which is fantastic, on DirecTV 349, Dish 223. We'll be right back.